Hello and welcome back to another tutorial. Last time we were rotating our sprite. This time we tried to update the position of the sprite based on the mouse cursor. So therefore let's continue and open our previous code. So the player.rs, and let's look at the code there. So as you might have noticed also, in case that you were trying to extend the project, the auto-completion was not working potentially properly, at least on my end. So I noticed that when I removed the macro for the Godot API, that actually auto-completion returns properly again and was working at least on my MacBook. So as you can see now, the auto-completion seems to work quite well again. So let's use the input method. Change also the GD generic type to our input event. And from there on, we will now start to implement it. But before we start, let's have a quick look at what kind of event it is. So we will use the Godot.print in order to get a bit more context for us. And that one will be printed actually on the Godot debugger, what we will see next to the engine. Also ensure that the Godot API is again added, because otherwise you will get compile errors and it will not work. In order to build it then, we change to the Rust directory. We also ensure that the Godot project has been already added and opened in the Godot editor. And then when you hit play in the editor, you should see that update events are actually displayed in the console of the editor, as you can see here. When inspecting the events, you see now the different types. So for example, here we have the input event mouse motion, and also when I press some keys, other kind of events. So as a result, we know now what kind we are looking for. Therefore, let's try to cast it. So we use the event, what is passed by the input method, and try to cast it to a specific type. In order to do that, we just use a match pattern, and based on the result, we will then use the value accordingly. So on the try cast, we now extend it with our generic, we extend the generic with the new type what we want to use. So this is like this input event mouse. And then we ensure that when the result is okay, then we should get actually the unwrapped event. And in case of an error, we just return it. So we don't add any logs there. We just do it purely return it, and that's it. Of course, in case that you want to have a bit more insight, feel free to extend it as you need it. For example, you could print also the error message when you hit another event, so that you see actually what the editor itself is generating, for example. We just take it easily, so therefore we will just use now the event and check what we actually get there. So let's try to get the position back and print it again to the Godot editor using the Godot print function. Then heading back, hit cargo build to build the library, and then press the play button again, or potentially also clear the console from before, and then press the play button to see if it updates properly. And as you can see, we finally get also positions in the background of the Godot editor, you can see. So that's a vector 2 with x and y coordinates. Very nice. And when I move over, I can also now inspect the window orientation for the x and y coordinate. So to finalize now, we will now attach the sprite actually to the mouse cursor. So therefore, we use the reference for self base. And as you can see, the auto-completion on one hand is not working properly. So we are back to the macro on the top, and will comment that out. And will comment that out finally again. Now the auto-completion at least should work. And as I already said in the getting started for Rust 4, for Godot 4 and Rust, we need to reference the base with the function, not with the property directly, because otherwise this will have a lot of side effects which are unexpected. Therefore, we want to do a mutation on the base, which is the sprite reference, and therefore we say self base mutable and set a new position. And the new position would be set based on the mouse position, what we are receiving in our pattern matching OK result. Now let's build it again. And as you can see, now I forgot to comment in again the Godot API. That's why we got the compile error. So now it should be fine. And now back in the editor, we should be able to actually use the mouse and move the sprite. Yeah, we made it. Thank you for watching. See you next time.